So, welcome to the Reggie and Henry show. You are?
I'm Reggie.
And I'm Henry. Welcome. Well, first and foremost, we have a smashing show for you here today. And first and foremost, we're just going to give you a quick rundown of what we have in store. How was your week this week, by the way?
Magnificent.
What was your highlight?
Highlight is you go out on the balcony and you see the sun and you see the sky and you see the beautiful greenery, and we are very, very lucky people.
We're lucky people?
Lucky people.
You know, it's interesting because in the book, one of the things that I learned about you was that every day, every single day, unbeknownst to the whole entire family, what do you do?
I go out the door, balcony, and I stand out for a few minutes and I look at the sky and I look at the greenery and I think about beautiful things.
Who knew that my father was that holistic? Well, I found out. So on top of the show, we're going to be talking very quickly about our mission, who we are and what we're about, and what we hope that we can bring to the picture for all of you. Second of all, we're going to do a quick your say, your comments from all around the world. Number three, we're going to be doing a special little piece of advice from a prison officer who I just met in an Uber ride, who is actually in the Correctional Office Department looking after people in jail for the last 10 years. And as promised, exclusive content on the stories I told my son, and that would be If I Was a Rich Man.
If I was a rich...
No, yeah. Are you excited to do the show?
Because
why?
I love it, because you were magnificent in the show on Mariah College.
But we're not going to...
Nobody like you.
But the thing is, we know you love me, Reg. Thank you very much. And of course, you're going to be biased. But the point is that we want today to be a super positive show. Last week was intense, and so we're lightening up. And we want to say to all of you who are either here with us, returning, or who are newly arrived, welcome. Now, if you can imagine a drum roll, I also am going to be working. I did not manage to do my appointment with Jackie Zuckerman from Next on Scene, who is a podcast specialist, global podcast specialist. And soon this is going to have a different set and we're going to be on different channels. But anyway, thank you for arriving. So first and foremost, I would say that it's important for us to discuss quickly who we are and why we're here. My father has a lifelong vault of experiences that I never knew about. And due to various circumstances, a decision was made that we were going to sit down and he was going to talk audibly, and I was doing interviews for his book, The Stories I Told My Son. Paris Cutler was one of the integral persons that has assisted us with that. Kim Taylor, I can name many, many people. But the bottom line is we're now in the process, slowly but surely, of creating a publication, a memoir in 2 books to be published in September 2020. What do we want from this? What makes my father's story different? The reason that we've done this is because there is a thing called the power of one. How did anything get created if somebody thought they were never going to be able to do it? Second of all, our goal is to create a foundation. We have the memoir, which is number 1, and number 2, we are actively seeking, as we speak, connecting like-minded people who are motivated by self-respect and a mutual respect, who are advocates for peace and tranquility, who want to make a bigger noise that antagonism might put out there. That is our goal. So if you're joining us, please note your energy, your support, everything that you said, we've taken on board. What do you think about what we're trying to do, Reggie?
We're trying to express our thought, what I think.
Yes.
People should aim for.
I tell you what, I'm glad that I got you as my father.
Yes.
That was well said. Excellent. That's right.
You're not an easy customer.
I'm not an easy customer. No, that I know. So the thing is that while you're telling me your stories and your life experiences, you're aiming for it to be shared with other people.
Exactly.
And here's an interesting thing though, you know, people say, what credibility do we have? Or what credibility does anybody have? What credibility do you have?
I tell you.
What? Okay, so 1 minute. So this is my father's saying of the day.
Right.
Drum roll.
Believe in your abilities.
Believe in your abilities, yeah.
Don't fear express what you strongly believe in, and persist in each endeavor, then add a layer of kindness.
Add a layer of kindness.
Together, these paths will fuel your strength to conquer the tallest mountains and achieve all your dreams.
I love it. So it's about the power of having conviction of what you're about.
Absolutely.
On that note, and interestingly enough, I wanted to just give a bit of a quick brief on some of the people that contacted us last week. In New York City, Mr. Michael Mutt, who has created a movement for the last 10 years called the Love Yourself Project. And he says, I love your dad. That's from Michael Mutt in New York City, thank you.
I'm not surprised.
John Rossetti in Sydney, Australia, who is a main advocate and a supporter and an empathizer of positivity. And he has his own challenges, we all do. He said, moving forward is positive and respectful. In Melbourne, Australia, Eva Hussein. Hello, gents. You met actually Eva when we did the conference. You remember her well.
Yeah.
She's an amazing woman.
A lovely
person, isn't she?
Lovely person.
It didn't hurt that she speaks Polish, right? A little
Helps.
bit. Josephine Bartlett. Joe Bartlett in the United Kingdom. We love Britain. Blighty. Who's actually one of the members of the theme song of the Stories I Told My Son, which is called Sugar Song. And she said, I can hear you loudly, gents. She's an extraordinary talent, and we're going to have more about that later on. And from one of my best friends in Canada, Mr. Peter McAleer, he said, Calgary loves ya. So we've got all that. Now, here we have a situation where we promised you that we were going to actually do a song to finish the show. And this song is a global song. We know it very well. Actually, you know your cap? You know the cap that you've got, the cap, like the teddy cap? So we're going to do some props, and we're going to come back in a second. Not a second, but we're just getting prepared. So as we promised you, we believe that music really is important. It is an insight into cultures. This happens to be more of a Jewish culture, but as we develop and evolve the community, we're going to have many different, many different cultures. So we're going to start. If you want to put your cap down, and I think I'll have your cap. Okay, so we'll have two hats. No, I think you should have the main cap. Okay, so now, are you excited?
Absolutely.
So now the whole thing is, as we're singing this song, we have to go slowly, like you taught me, softly and then loudly. Okay, so, and then we're going to go, okay, so I'm going to count it. So it's like, okay, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, for the very, very first time around the world, the Reggie and Henry show present to you a song of inspiration, but more importantly, as the guy who told me in the Uber, and I'm going to give you his advice at the end of the show, said, it's about keeping your sense of humor. Right. So, okay, we're going to shake it down, and we're going to go nicely and slowly. So this is what I think we do. Softly in the beginning, softly. I'm sorry, I have this door closed, softly. And then we end with crescendo, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do is we get out of camera view, and then we're going to start. So get out of camera view, a bit more.
Yeah.
And then we start. Come in. If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy bum. If I was a walking man, I wouldn't have to work hard. All day long I'd biddy bum. If I was a wealthy man, I build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen, right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would be one long staircase just going up, and one even longer looking down, and one more leading nowhere just for show. Pause. I'd see my wife, my golden, looking like a rich man's wife with a proper double chin, dreaming at the servants day and night. She'd be going da 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 dee da 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 da, and land like a trumpet on the ear. Is if to say there lived a wealthy man. If I was a rich man, yabba dabba 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 da. If I was a wealthy man, God who made the lion and the lamb, you decree I should be what I am? Would it spoil some vast eternal plan? If I was a wealthy man. Da 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 da. That's it.
I love that Tsar from far away.
You love the Tsar. You love the Tsar, the Russian Tsar. Okay. So why? How did you? Thank you very much, Mr. Weinreich. My question to you is, why is music important?
Music is important
Yeah.
because it nourishes your well-being
And your soul. So I'm going to just grab my notes. Thank you. I tell you what, we've never done that together, have we? No. Did you enjoy it? No. It's not easy. It's a very hard job being my son.
Very much.
And we want to finish off, and I spoke to my father earlier before we got on air, about some wisdoms, actually, from a man who drove me here an Uber ride this morning. And, you know, I think somebody said to me the other day, well, after watching the show, they're like, gosh, you are exactly like your father. And so I said, well, except that he's got twice the energy. Anyway.
Yes.
But the one thing I learned from you, hopefully, is the importance of speaking to people and the importance of finding out what they're about. So I spoke to him, and believe it or not, you know, you never know a person until you speak to them.
Correct.
Never.
Never.
This guy was in a Mercedes-Benz, whatever, right? Like an amazing car. He was extremely polite, beautifully polished and everything. And I said to him, I thought, you know, he was the owner of a computer company, goodness knows what. And I said to him, what, you know, he asked me what I'm doing. And of course, I told him about the stories I told my son. We're creating a memoir. We're going to be creating a foundation. And he said to me, what do you think I do? And I said to him, you're the CEO of a IT company.
Yeah.
He said, I'm a correctionals officer at XYZ jail in just near Botany Bay. And I said to him, I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to quote you today. He told me a whole lot of his stories. It was amazing. I said, after I finish with my father's book, I'll help you write your book. Except I'll be too busy writing your more books. And he said, there's three things. As a correctional officer, as a person that is looking after people who are incarcerated in jail, often he was in the harder section, he said to me this, tell your father from me, be aware when people manipulate you. Understand the motivation, don't hate the motivation, but be aware of manipulation. Everything out there can be seen as good or bad. That's not what it is. It's manipulation. Understand where people are coming from. Number two. Be genuine. Life is not a show. Life is life. If you're going to put on an act, after a while, you will get caught out.
Absolutely.
And actually speaking, he said to me, the ultimate worst thing that can happen to you when your act goes wrong is being put in jail. Amazing, right? And number three, and this is the one that I thought I really bonded with him. He said to me to remind us, and he'll be listening today. He told me he'll be listening, that you mustn't lose your sense of humour. Excellent. So, and one last thing I wanted to say was, we've come across an amazing organisation by the name of Save a Life. Save a Child's Life. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that next week. But the thing that I'm learning from this whole experience is there's so much out there that you can focus on to build the world of things that are a bit more positive, I think, than being negative. So, and I've definitely been through my various stages of negativity. And that's the story. What would you like to say before we round off, Reg? Because we're over time.
I would like to meet a fellow because we had a factory, a big factory, and I couldn't get any workers. So I went to jail, and I spoke to the fellow, you know, the
commissioner. I said that people leave the jail. We will welcome them.
we'll give them work, and they will become new people. And we
Got 30 people from jail.
This is what year? What year was this? 1950 something, no?
53,
Unbelievable.
54, and not only that, but we guarantee them, you know,
Where to live. So we'll pay the wages.
and Australians are human beings.
The people all over the world, though, you've taught me human beings, though.
But
Not just Australians, Reggie.
I'll tell you what I did.
But Reggie,
Because
it's not,
they-
Reggie, that's for the book. Otherwise, we have to go now. We're over time. But the thing is, what you're saying is that you recognise from this man his wisdoms, right? Okay. Thank you, Reg. Thank you, Reg. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say that this has been amazing. But we don't just sing and dance. What we do right now is spend many, many, many hours on our efforts to get our editing done. My father's like, come on, where are we? I'm like, you know, I was staying here overnight, and my father was up at 5:30 in the morning going, right, let's write the book. And I'm like, I'm going back to sleep. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Warnock, for being my father. Now you're supposed to say thank you for being my son. Thank you for being my father,
My
Reggie.
son.
Yes. And now I have to say goodbye. Say goodbye. Reg.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Thank you all very much for joining us. We will be having our website, our YouTube station, and many other things coming on stream shortly. Thank you and have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.